All right, let's see. Working fine today. Mic test. All right, let's start our session then. All right, we got a first vote. Got a bear here. Okay, someone is bearish. It's me. All right, Matt. Why are we bearish today? I guess I should have put a third option if possible, like a neutral, but bull or bear? I mean, we're opening below the overnight low. That's pretty bear. You got that going for you for sure. We're extended past the first standard deviation on the bottom end. That's pretty bear. Mm. Let's see if we break below prior day's low. That would be pretty bear. But prior day low's at 147. So about 10 points from here. What do you trade, Matt? You trading the NQ, S&P? Well, I'm actually a neutral bear. Before bear is we have a little sell off in the morning. In the EU, I think it might continue. It was pretty rough. Ended up breaking even on that sell off. Oh, okay. So were you bullish yesterday at the open? All right, here's the report pulling. Time is it 38? Yeah, I mean, look at this. You have a also a report I just got pulled, and the report also says mild bearish. See, you see it? Take a look here. Yeah, it does. There's the report there. Mildly bearish, aligning with Mr. Matt. I did not have the balls to short. I tried to buy the bottom using the. Oh, okay. What's your parameters for? Didn't have the balls to short. Better buy the bottom. Well, like, what do you mean when you buy the bottom? That's like near impossible to buy a bottom. I'll tell you that. Even if you have a dumb. Is there a structural component to trying to buy a dip? Where are you from, my friend? Yeah. So we can reclaim the overnight low. I don't think these might be retest of the open. Yeah, that might be a good short here above. As close as we can here, VWAP. We'll see how close we can get a short into VWAP. Like yesterday, for example, I was short. Not at the open, but a little bit into the open. I was targeting the overnight low yesterday on the short. That was what, 147? Yeah, 147 yesterday. Short around 173, 171 were my entries, or I scaled into the trade. What levels do you use for your reference? I need to take a screenshot of this. Okay. Use minus development on market profiles or on bars. Minus development, never heard of that. What is that? Skinny part of the profile that would be. Oh, okay. This session might be very tough to trade. You can kind of already tell we're opening. We've already breached the overnight low. We're a little bit above yesterday's high, our low, and then we're trading right near last week's Valera high. So the general lean, I would say, is short as long as we are accepting below the overnight last week's Valera high. Right now, it's trying to break out of last week's Valera high, and so far it's rejected. So you can kind of test the other side of balance, which is likely the first level down is here. The point of control from last week, the time-based point of control, and then the Valera low. I just would like a fill a little higher, but they're not really bouncing. It's pretty weak tape. The tape is pretty slow. Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm looking for. See if there's a bounce here at yesterday's Valera low or yesterday's low per se. Ideally, I would like a short somewhere between here. Somewhere between the first standard deviation and 165, give or take, to target the yesterday's priority low and see the reaction after that. But yeah, it's a pretty weak open. They're not going to give me that entry. Yeah, it keeps drifting lower. I want a short, but not. The scanner, so I have a probability scanner that runs every morning based on historical data. And it already gave like the mildly bearish bias right there. You can see it on the next to my head, a little report. Yeah, the internals are really weak too. I guess the only setup I can think of right now would be after the IB sets. We can do an IB low target to target the IB low. So wherever it gets set. So if it gets set here, price bounces, does its thing. After the IB is set, we'll look for a short entry, and then to target the IBL for a continuation. IBL continuation trade would be IBL continuation down trade would be the only setup I can think of. I'll probably have to wait like 50 minutes. What software I use to trade, Matt? What do I decide to trade? That's a good question to me. So I use historical targets, but primarily my main priority is using this stat sheet for targets when I come up with a trade idea or when I have one in mind. So I have this stat here. And most times my primary objective is to target on most sessions the overnight high or overnight low, or the IB low or IB high. If none of those are possible, then I'll kind of defer to the volume point of control first. Here we go. Let's see. So the overnight high or low stat has a 90% probability report, which is what I targeted yesterday on the live stream. The overnight low, so I targeted that. The other one is the at least one IB broke stat. There's a 78 probability stat that either IB low or IB high will trade or probe. So I scaled at the IB low, and then I scaled at the overnight low yesterday. Then I had a runner thereafter that got trailed out. But outside of that, if those two are not true, typically I don't even have a trade idea. But if I really had to push, then it would be the volume point of control. Let's see here. So I have a framework here. One framework. I've set a few, two frameworks that I use. But depending on the setup, so for example, if it's an overnight low failed breakdown, the point of control or VWAP are the targets on an overnight low failed breakdown. Sometimes settlement, really good. It's going to vary depending on the setup, where that overnight low setup is relative to the prior day close. The IB low failed day breakdown, again, point of control. These are historical targets, so the hit rate and on the amount of cases that it triggered. It tells me the probability stat here of that setup hitting on any given day. If we have a true gap up, then it's going to probably be the overnight high, and or this one might not work for that stat. IB high would probably be the target on this one, on a gap up reversion. Which in the opposite sense, this one today is a true gap down though. We open flat. I hope that answers the question. It's IB high. It's the overnight high or IB levels first, VWAP thereafter. If neither are there, VWAP is another high probability target on any given session. It trades pretty frequently, or the volume point of control for the overnight session. That makes sense. Those are I use probability stats for targets more or less. as entries or exit points. The prior session. Yeah, those are good ones if you're using market profile for zones of interest. I can't say that I do. They do work. I don't personally reference them, although I might be using them without knowing at times because it aligns with a different level of interest. So not necessarily. I don't have them as part of my analysis to use as zones, although I have seen my trades as I review them and they happen to align with those areas coincidentally at times. So for example, like this morning, I can see myself taking the long on a failed breakdown of yesterday's low, the 149, 147 low. I would look for a long on a failed breakdown there, and that would be technically a val area low failed breakdown. Although I don't look at the chart and see the val area low. Right, but I know that it is probably one of those val area lows. Darn it. Don't really use them either, but I'm thinking of producing them as some price trends to bounce. So I certainly do reference the weekly val area high or the weekly val area low as it relates to the prior week. I do reference those often for context. Not really for entries, but for context. But they do work. They are pretty good zones. It specifically as it relates to the New York val area high and low. Overnight val area high or low, it depends. Time is it 65? Do you use what's your platform that you use to trade? I referenced is oh you use a 24-hour session? Okay, that helps a lot. It gives it more context. Jigsaw? Okay, cool. You use their charting software as well? Omar. I want to see how price reacts here as we pop into the VWAP slash IB high. From Italy? Okay, cool. Welcome, sir. So we have an overnight low failed breakdown set up there. I long 150. Nice. All the trap sellers. I mean, yeah, I mean, you can see the delta red here, I guess. And then it flipped positive a little bit after 155. So nice eye. You'll soon exit. What's your how do you how do you decide your targets on the trade? All right. Okay, I'll just start with a small scale here. Probably just do 2 for now. Selling at the bid. I want to see this go a little higher into VWAP. So ideally, the setup here is I'm going to see if it can come into VWAP and reject. As long as we're below VWAP, I want to target the IB low for the session. Okay, I added one more. I'll leave room to add a couple more. See how this plays. Hmm. Because I have minus delta. This was supposed to be a scalp. I'm testing some risk management. Exit is random. Oh, okay. Any error. Quantity for the parent one is less than 2. Yeah. Whatever. But normally I would enter minus development and try to target extreme. There are more TPOs that stick out. Okay, out of the recently tested or taken. So the TPO profile you have is a small time frame to be able to see that development happen, I assume. Okay, makes sense. What time frame are you running on the On the profile. Is it a tick-based profile or 15-minute, 30-minute? Big profile composed. Okay, so you compile it. Nice. 30-minute TPO. Okay, cool. It's a pretty good one. Daily profile on TradingView. Okay. Oh, it's TradingView. You like it? I don't think I've ever used it. Outside of the free charts they have, just like, yesterday we had a minus development on my MES. This is a resistance where price can go back in. It likely did yesterday. Yeah, I think it did last night. So yeah, you can see it even on the 30-minute bar chart or candlestick chart. You said you call it a minus development. Interesting concept. I've never heard of that. A minus development. Is that like a structural development on price action? Oh, okay, cool. You can coin them. Are those like are those are the inefficiencies in the profile essentially, where the profile needs correction or cleaning up, so to speak? Kind of like where the price leaves some single prints. Is that what that means, or what exactly is it? It sounds like it's like your inventor mark profile. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. It's like, and then positive development would be a breakaway gap. Kind of what we had this whole entire week, the last couple weeks, the way up. Yeah. Okay. I know what you're talking about. Okay. I just call it something different, but I understand the concept. It revisits to clean up the auction, the poor auction, repair. Yeah, single prints. I can understand the concept. That makes sense. I mean, kind of like last week, we had a single prints on the weekly. Kind of where we cleaned up here. I think 71.62 on the weekly profile. I'm gonna add a couple more to this in a few. It has to fail, but if it does, I'll add a couple more lots. For some reason, it doesn't let me add my OCO brackets. Matched orders. Thanks. Go to later. It acts as support or resistance at the beginning of the market might take it out. Yeah, it takes it out, cleans it up. You can see it on the 1 or 5 minute bars. It's less reliable. Yeah, the higher time frame stuff will probably hold a lot better since there's more time frame. There's more time frame participants on a higher time frame development or negative development or even a positive one in this case. While the shorter term ones are more maybe algo oriented or slippage. Let's see. Yeah. You journal your trades, Mr. Matt? Oh, shoot. Oh, that's terrible. Hmm. How do you manage risk in terms of how many contracts you enter? No, I do not. How many? I enter between 3 to 5. It really depends on the setup. So the quality of the setup will dictate the amount of size I take on a position. Um, so when I do the screening probability tests, I can kind of dictate the sizing based on the probability report. It'll give me the context of the quality of the session, so to speak. Um, and that kind of will say, okay, my max allocation today will be around this size, and then the ATR, which is pretty low. The ATR also plays a fundamental role there because it kind of dictates how big my stop loss will likely have to be for that day. So if between base side risk between 3 to 5 lots, most times three. Um, A grade risk probably like 9 lots to 12. It depends. Actually, new kind of to a future stream about investing. Okay. Well, what do you invest in? That's always good to have the opposite extreme. Having started. Do you ever scalp now? Do you think it is possible to be profitable scalping? I mean, yeah, I think probably let's see, is it possible? I mean, probably. It's just I think it depends on the personality. Um, for scalping. It's takes a certain kind of personality to be able to scalp consistently over time, I would say. I think anybody can be profitable short-term scalping, but the longevity of it, it's mentally taxing. I don't personally enjoy it. Crypto, okay. You found great value. Well, that's great to hear, man. I'm glad. Thanks for checking it out. Um, what crypto are you or what crypto did you invest in? Are you holding any more of it still? It's been about 9 years. Watched all. What? Is that a crypto? Oh, you watched all the videos. No way. Wow, thanks. You watched all the videos. Okay. Well, thanks for watching. That's cool. Okay, here comes VWAP. Might add a couple if we depending if we can reject the VWAP here. All right. Okay, it's my internet disconnected, and reconnected for some reason. It says main money on altcoin. Okay, cool. So you've had your fair share of experiences with altcoins. Seems to be what I can gather your main. All right, my internet disconnected, but reconnected. Um, you got to run up on some altcoins. What's the criteria there that you look for when entering or buying an altcoin? Did you get them before they're listed on exchanges? So you're trying to get in before um, liquidity kind of gets injected into the market. In deal, okay. Yeah, I don't really know much about crypto. Just know the main coins. I like regular individual stocks for sure, just not crypto. Not really a fan of it. Probably gonna add a couple more lots here just to define the risk above you up now. But I'm waiting for the IB to be set. No, 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 not buy bid, sell bid. There we go. I was putting in the wrong order. Look, okay. Basically, is what most people do unless they are private. Okay. They trying to so pretty much just go fishing for some sort of low market cap. I'm assuming it has to be relative low float. So like the circulation has to be kind of small as well of the altcoins. Then it moves more, right? If the circulation or the float, if it's small. Such a slow ass tape. We might just grind out until the end of the day. Yeah, they can see. No flow of liquidity is in a pool. The pool is like what? Like where they are kind of storing most of the volume or um most of the coins. So then technically there's like a scarcity that usually drives price. Yeah, it's very thin tape, honestly. It's kind of expected given the earnings and then the Fed meeting later today. Pretty low chop, you know. It's a little grind. What are we flat on the day so far now on the S close? That's almost flat. Kind of slow tapes usually involve in just grind all the way up action. What's up, Coco? Welcome back, sir. Grind like action. Kind of slow tapes. Grinds it out all day until we get some sort of event. I might just get to have to stop out on this one. I mean, I put my stop there at 171, 172 area. But it's slow grind. This kind of chop is usually grind is bullish more often than not. The slow grind stuff until some sort of event occurs, provides some sort of volatility. But Valerie low, yeah. I see what you're saying. It's right. I have a profile here, pretty much here, so to speak. So it's like the volume point of control 72. I might want to touch it. Um, and then we'll see what happens. Either like you're saying right now, it accepts back into it, and then we can come back to 180, kind of like around here, or it's just back testing it to reject, and then we can kind of come back into this valley area from this morning, and then potentially here. I see what you're saying. I'll disagree. Very slow day though. Just grind, grind, grind. IB is about to be set here in like 1 minute. If we just take out the IB, end up grinding into the IB, I'm just gonna close the trade, call it a day. We'll see. I'm gonna give this some time here. IB. Oh, boring fucking days, dude. This is kind of expected though if you're going into May, which is the one of the lower volume periods of the year, May and June. Could have kept on that long. Well, you said you were testing it, right? Kind of hard to know when to sell it if you're testing something you're not sure. But yeah, and then trading, right? Should have held this, should have held that. Had I not been stopped out, it's like that's trading pretty much in a nutshell. How long I've been trading futures? Like 4 years. And trading in general, longer, but futures, yeah, like 4 years. I've been around. I've seen a few market regimes. I can kind of see like if someone tells me like, oh, this is what I do, this is what I trade, or this is what I'm looking at. I can kind of I can see the angle, you know. Just have enough. Isn't the IB already set? Why is it still moving? Fuck. All right, well, I'm gonna close this here in a few minutes, just giving it time. But this IB should already be set. Why is it still moving? 6:30, 7:30 is the end time. Right. Fuck. 7:32. Why is the IB still moving? Control balance daily. 6:30 start time. 7:30 end time. What the fuck? Makes no fucking sense. Why this is still moving around. See if the IB still moves again on another high. It should not move at all. There you go. So the IB set that. I don't know why the hell it's fucking delayed on setting. What time is it here? 7:33. 7:30. 7:36. 33. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Okay, cool. Do you look at volume footprint? Used to. Not so much anymore. Used to. Seems like there's a big fad going on with footprint charts again. Second time I get asked this week. But no. I noticed that people will start asking about certain indicators when they're very popular on the internet. But no, I do not. There's good info there though, for sure. This trade is no longer valid at all. So Looking to see if there's a rejection, but they're holding above VWAP. They're accepting within just slightly the overnight range. Value low. None of this is looking good for bears at all. Very nice. Yeah, I mean, I guess I should. What do you use it for? You know, like what's the information you use it for? Again, it is very good. It gives you a look at participation within price action. You know, it's a good reference for sure. I see you looking at Dom. Yep, that's pretty much stare at it most of the time. Today it's pretty much, I wouldn't say it's very entertaining or much to look at. Here's my stop coming up at 176. Overall, the reclaim is bullish, I guess. What information do you use on the footprint chart to help you? How to get stopped out here, probably. This thing just completely rejected and accepted, is now accepting above the overnight value low. So it likely wants to test 180 higher. Profile candles. Yeah, that's what it shows you. But what I'm asking is like, how do you use it? You know, like you're telling me what it tells you. And yes, it gives you all that information. But how do you use it? Is the question I'm asking. Like, what? How does it? What is your? How do you confirm an entry based on the information it gives you, right? Because I have a whole video on showing you trap traders and stuff. Like I know that it does that, but that doesn't give you an entry model. It just gives you information. Like someone telling me like, "Oh, do you see the sky?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's blue." And then sometimes it's cloudy and it tells me it's gonna rain, right? But it doesn't. You're not really saying like, "Oh well, when I see the clouds coming, I make sure to bring an umbrella that morning," or when it's out and sunny, bright and sunny, I don't wear a jacket or a sweater, like things like that. Context. See what this report pulls. It's pretty much not the reports that are gonna be useless. The mild bearish. Yeah, I will make more videos. I'm definitely gonna make more videos. It just I've been working on other stuff lately. Or lately, it's been a while, but I've been working on a lot more other things that are more AI oriented. Entries on value area high or low is it true? So like value area high, is it like the overnight value area high? The full daily composite value area high? Never mind. Okay, well I'm glad it works for you. It works for you. I just sometimes I don't really understand. I don't. This is part of the videos that I was making, I guess. I don't think people will. Maybe that you're not being thorough enough, but I will be making videos on historical probability trading, using AI, backtesting, coming up with playbooks using those historical data sets or points, coming up with targets based on historical data, analyzing price New York opens relative to um, overnight session inventory, things like that. Those are videos I'm probably going to be coming out with. They're more data driven, historically based analysis based on certain parameters that I use every single day. The more hardwired, grounded to real data, trade analysis, and playbooks or trading styles is what I will be making videos on. You know, no more of that like subjective nuance or like it's going to be very objective based on just simple parameters, and I'll explain what those parameters are on those videos. But I've been building it's because I've been working on this, and then also working on the playbooks, historical backtesting, setups that work, targets that work based on those setups. And then also a trading journal I've been creating to log these trades automatically, pulling data from Sierra chart, creating custom indicators from Sierra chart. So for example, let's see if I can pull it. Let's see here. For example, this playbook here, the overnight low failed breakdown, says armed. This setup here is technically this right here. The Sierra chart logged the setup as armed. And then color coordinated the candles so that way it's letting me know, hey, this setup right here is valid right now, right there at 161. And it gives you the candle closes based on the confirmations I gave Sierra to highlight candles when those setups emerge. And it does the same thing with a few other setups that I have. They're kind of like passively confirming as price is trading. And they're different colors to let me know the different setups or playbooks that I have. But I didn't like the setup. I did not want to take a long. Simply the open said mild bearish bias. We were opening below VWAP slash half a standard deviation lower. Technically, historically, that's a very mildly bearish setup. And it did show that. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to break the parity low though. So back to neutral kind of price action, so to speak. But yeah, I mean things like this, like historical opens. This scan was pulled today. It was cool. The last scan was at 7:38 Pacific, so about 7 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago, and it gives me the potential setups and price targets to target based on historical hit rates. These are not, and then these right here are not armed, meaning they're not. These are not triggers for today's session, given that they didn't hit all the parameters in order to even look for these setups at all. So setup 5 and setup 6. So this is pretty much what I've been working on. Probably will make videos on more or less. I'm primarily right now, I make the videos. I would like to have this is the journal I've been making. I would like to have those trade stats along with trades executed to review, backtest, and then put in using the live streams as like snippets of the trade execution, entry, management, etc. So this is my trading journal that I made using Claude. It's connected to Sierra chart. Everything I do on here kind of populates into this journal. And so I'm going to be working on this as well. But it'll be coming out, but the videos would take some time because I'm working on finalizing other projects in the meantime. Weekly imbalance, failures, previous sessions overnight, previous sessions full day. So the playbook you're pretty much saying is you look for failed breakdowns of a prior session value or low. I don't know if it's overnight session or full session, but you look for absorption delta trapping below prior value or low, whether that's a overnight or full session. For a long, I'm going to assume, and then you look for range breakouts with maybe some expansion in delta and volume when footprint breaks out of a range or consolidation period, right? Like that's like the real response. Like, oh, I use footprint for range breakouts when I see delta increasing positively and volume increasing as we break out of a range, right? That's and then the absorption plus delta trap, like I look for absorption or delta traps below a prior value or low. That is the overlap between London and New York. There you go. Which makes sense, you know, both setups make sense. It's just like people always give vague responses. It's kind of hard. I can see all the playbooks. I know all the playbooks, but people don't explain them. Most times I don't think they understand what they trade. I'm not saying you don't, but I don't think most people understand what they're trading. They're just clicking buttons. Internals have been red all morning, so I'm kind of impressed. I think most of it has to do with the Nasdaq's strength here because the Dow is near the low. The internals have been red all morning, but that's related to the Dow's performance. I'm kind of impressed by this push up on the S&P. I'll add more if we trade below VWAP. Here at 169, I'll add a couple more lots and I'll kind of leave it at that and then hard stop above that high. So we'll see if we can dip a little bit here below 169. We're kind of right at VWAP. Delta's kind of net sell tape momentum is picking up. You can see it's increased a little bit in the last few minutes. Doesn't mean anything unless it picks up further. We're going to head into Euro close, so we'll see if that adds more volatility into the Euro close. Good morning, Mr. Neifert. Oh. Short on Dow. You're short on the Dow. Well, it looks like it's about to break the New York low or the opening low. I don't know if it's going to or not, but it looks like it. Glanced at it. We're teetering right here at the value high from last week. Again, holding below. I would say not that high, but it has to be below kind of where my cost basis is pretty much. It has to hold below this area. Sorry. below this area. Acceptance below 161. Acceptance there. No, trading for a period of time below this area and clean up this poor low here. We're not there yet. We're kind of increasing here. I'll add a couple more, just a couple lots here. A bid. Yeah, add a couple more. There we go. Okay. Added a couple more there. A weakness below VWAP, adding a few more lots here at 169. Hard stop at 176. We'll see. Now just has to hold. No more highs being made. Pretty slow tape. Internals are all red. As far as for the Dow component, I'm sure the NASDAQ probably has some positive momentum. Let's see what sector is doing good on the NASDAQ. Chips. No chips again. Intel being the primary one. Overall, a lot of red on the heat map, but some very, very bright green along memory and chips. And then Visa, MasterCard, and Google outside of that. Do you ever trade? No, I don't trade those. If you have thinner markets to trade, you can just compress the DOM. I would recommend compressing the DOM. On the NASDAQ specifically, I have a 4-tick compression. So I would definitely just thin it out, compress the DOM. I don't know how much to compress it by. I would kind of fiddle with it. And then you can kind of get an understanding of what a good compression rate would be. So you can compress it on settings. So the compression, where is it? Compression. It's been a while since I've had a compressor DOM. I don't remember where it is. Oh, hey, actually no. It's in the when you search. There it is. When you search your tick multiplier, you just increase it both ways. 4 ticks. How many ever ticks you think you need? That helps a lot. But to answer the question, I don't trade anything else. Just the S&P. Do I ever clear? I clear when I want to see the intent at a zone. So if we're in an area of interest, I'll definitely clear the DOM or the delta as we approach an area of interest. Whether that be a priority, whatever the level is or zone. I want to see exactly what's happening at that point in time. And I'll clear it a couple times. So if it trades initially, I'll look at the reaction of the delta as it pierces that area, so let's say it trades below the parity low, I'll let the data come in, I'll look at it, see how it reacts, and then if I'm looking for an entry, then I will clear it to see if there starts to be a positive, either negative delta building up without price moving lower, or if there's an immediate market buying taking place. I'll clear it after, give or take a few seconds or a minute after it touches the zone or trades into it. So I can get more context. So, okay, we went in there, pretty aggressive momentum, clear the tape. Delta's building up negatively, momentum's still kind of bouncing around, so there could be absorption. No new low is made. Definitely signs of an absorption. So then, you stock an entry. Or if you're already short, then you're probably looking to maybe close the position or trail or what have you. If you are entering along and you maybe want to see an aggressive push out of it, then you clear it, see the positive delta building up, goes up, but then it stalls, right? Delta is increasing positively, but price is not moving higher, then that means there's trapped buyers. You're better off seeing negative delta buildup on a failed breakdown or on a long than seeing positive high delta at a low. Personally, because that move can be also fueled by shorts covering, which makes it look like it's positive delta, but it's just a short-term bounce, a shorts cover. So the better filter would be seeing a cluster of just a lot more selling as you hit a low. Because the different players that are being executed when there's negative delta is different than the players that are being executed when there's positive delta at a low. And the inverse is true at a high. They both can work, but just like, again, the context of both is different. Do you look for diminishing at low top if you do not have a delta? Not necessarily, no. I look for transactions diminishing, like volume thinning out. Not necessarily. Like, I guess it depends. So, like, if we were hitting like a put gamma wall, like a put wall, and volumes dissipates, like dries up as you hit that gamma wall, then yes. But otherwise, no. The gamma wall is like a dealer, options dealer zone of interest because that's where dealers are hedged with puts for the SPX. And if volume thins out as you hit that put wall, the dealer has to buy. So if there's no volume and they're buying all the inventory, then it creates for a good reversal. So it just depends. I would only use that for a gamma wall. The gamma walls for today are pretty far away. So today, at least from when I ran on pre-market, the put wall isn't until 70.85, and the call wall isn't until 72.205. It's kind of been there all week. These are derived gamma levels from options transactions on the SPX. It's a report that gets run pre-market here, and it gives me plotted levels based on the SPX options chain. I have a weekly one that I run. The dealers are long delta, and it tells me where those walls are more or less. How can I get the gamma walls? You got to pay for the data, unfortunately. You can get it from Massive.io. I created a script that runs. So, for example, let me do it right now. Watch. So, here it is. This one. So I have a script. I have a subscription where I get the options data, and then I have a Python script that pulls the options chain information, does the math for me from the options chain, and then it plots the levels on the S&P automatically. So right now it's running the calculation. It's going to update based on the options chain for the last from the open. I don't like to do that midday to run the options chain, but we'll do it just as an example. It's finding the flipped. Here we go. It's already done. Now all I got to do is just refresh here, and then the data will populate. And then it'll pull up to my Discord. My Discord has the updated walls now. So there's a call wall, same place. And now the call wall moved up a little bit to 7125, but still stayed at 7085. The put wall now moved a little bit higher, 7125. From the open, it was a lot lower. Which this aligns with last week's value area low, right? So you have the last week area, last week's value area low, 7125. You have confluence there on a gamma wall plus a value area low. EP1 hit on Dow. The Dow hasn't broken the low, but good trade. It looks like the Dow's gonna break the low of the day that it made from this morning. I'm not. But this is the gamma wall. So put wall right here aligns up perfectly with this area, the prior week value area low. So that's confluence, right? That's good. You just saw like the script pull. I have an automatic workflow that populates these levels every day for me pre-market. So when I come into my desk, it's already there on my screen. It's already populated. I have these reports that get pulled throughout the day to pull playbooks that I like to trade, those setups that I like to see. And it runs historically the probability of those setups hitting or being likely to occur. And then it gives me intraday context based on the open. And that's kind of the report you see on next to my head, I think, over here. Oh, it's pretty small. I don't know why it's overloading like that. There you go. It was a 2-minute range breakout in overall bearish weekly TPO profile. Got it. Well, seems like you have good momentum on that Dow trade. Because I think it's about to break the IB low or the low of the open. A good trade. On the Mr. Dow. So here's the Dow chart I have open. See this one here? I just kind of glanced at it. This one right here. And then the NQ. So they're inversely correlated today. They're inverse to one another. And these are the internals I was talking about. So they're below zero on both. And those relate to the S&P. I'm sorry, to the NASDAQ. Sorry, to the Dow. Why am I saying the wrong one? Oh, now I know why I didn't do it. So silly. Okay, now I understand. There we go. Now that makes sense. I was looking at the wrong chart. A little dumb. Kind of sell these one. Just adjusting my lots here. 149 is the idea. We'll see. Be right back. Next thing we're breaking down. Gotta hit the. I'm gonna scale just a couple at the point of control um at the volume point of control. Actually, it's shifted up now, huh? Okay. Anyway. Pretty slow day. Chopping down now. Gonna set an alert and see when this thing breaks. The Dow breaks the priority low. I'm sorry, the current low. Hasn't broken it yet. Take out yesterday's low, yeah. Take out priority low. Exactly. PDL, somewhere around there. I'll scale most of it and then I will get down to a small position, kind of hold it for the rest of the session because we have a catalyst this afternoon going into middle of the day, so I will probably just hold a small piece, see if that catalyst expands price to tag the put wall, right? The put wall or the value area low. Here's the premise, okay? And I've been saying this in the newsletter. If you read the newsletter, holding below the prior week value area low, which is here between where we're at now here, holding below that can potentially target first and foremost the point of control 140, which aligns with breaking priority low. And then the other one is here at the prior value area low, which aligns with the put wall that I gave earlier when we scanned the gamma wall, right? Which is 125. So those are two areas of interest on the breakdown based on this weakness. Those are the two areas that I'm targeting. The point of control 140, which aligns with the prior day low. And then the second and last target is the 125, which is the weekly value area low. So those are the two targets. Give or take a few points. I don't really care about precision. I don't want to take out the exact prior day low. Just somewhere in that vicinity, right? Somewhere in that vicinity is fine. All right, Coco. See you, man. The error? No, it just sometimes pops up based on the order fills. I mean, you just close it. It doesn't really affect your trading anything. The error message happens sometimes with the order confirmations. When I use strategy fill, it's very annoying. Oh, really? Huh. Yeah, it has to do with order fills. I don't know why it pops up that little message. I get it every so often too. I admit, as you can see, my window is very small, so I just close it every time it pops up. It is annoying. The journal popped up. Do you ever move stops to break even? Yeah, I do. I do it on scale when I've gotten so for example, in specific scenarios. So scenario one would be um scenario one would be we are, let's just say we do a failed breakdown, for example, in this scenario. On a failed breakdown, we usually trying to depends on the scenario, right? Drawing toolbar. So the setup was getting long a failed breakdown of an overnight low. The stop will take place once I hit two of the historical probability targets. So let me pull that report. Actually here already. Let me just. So in this setup here, for example, if we went with the overnight low failed breakdown, the targets are always VWAP, right? So VWAP would have been here, and then the IB high, which would have been up here. Once I hit those two targets, there is a 30% chance of hitting the first standard deviation, which is this target here. So once we hit the two targets, I usually move to break even on the last side of the position thereafter. It just depends on the setup we're playing. In this scenario, I would. Same thing with an overnight high failed breakout. I would do that as well. So it's all dependent on the setup itself and how I manage the trade. And it's based on historical probabilities when I move to break even. You might get that. I mean, who knows what they'll do the rest of the day. The thing is, like, we have a catalyst with, I'm thinking of final Fed meeting, and then we have the earnings at the end of the day. Who knows? Maybe. We're holding below the overnight low currently. It's being supported a little bit above yesterday's high, so we'll see. Did you probably will you, did you stop out? No, I just added to the trade or averaging good. I just averaged in. Let me see if I can show the fills here. Doesn't show the fills here. Huh. Showing the fills right now. Okay. All right. You might want to pop 100 points. Yeah, possibly. And Q is the stronger one today. The Dow's weaker. I don't know why the fills are not. Do you think we retrace? Possible. I think if we trade below, just my close my drawing tool. If we trade below the last week's value area low, then yes. Trade below last week's value area low, then yes. I keep referencing the same levels, kind of the baseline for the current structure. But if we trade below this, only if we trade below this, then yes. But holding below 124, 120, then we can definitely do that. Only then. And I assume that's possible. Similar to here, right? Trading below a current prior week value high, then we could trade middle, low end. Then if we do trade below that, then that's possible, yes. I don't know otherwise. I don't have any clue. Kind of like a if this then that kind of thing. But to go that far out, you know, I can't say. I can't say right now definitively that's gonna happen. Don't know. I only really know once structure breaks. Because otherwise, it's anyone's guess. Q, it keeps holding, and Q's holding the VWAP. It looks like it pulled back and just kind of held the VWAP. If the Dow puts in a failed breakdown here, then you probably have a nice pop back up again. The reason I don't use them anymore is because I moved over to objective data. Still the same setup that I was trading using that information, but now it's just historically backed data, and I removed the potential subjectivity of looking at a footprint chart. Because if I looked at a footprint chart and I was long or short, I can look at the data and justify potentially that it's a valid short setup or a valid long setup, because I can look at the data and interpret it in different ways. Because I was doing that, it was creating more distortion to me than it was being beneficial. So I removed it. Because, I mean, you can look at the footprint chart, and yes, sometimes it's clear as day, black and white. Sometimes it's gray. And in those instances, it was more detrimental than it was useful. To remove that objective perception, subjective perception, I just removed it, took it off, you know? Because the thing is about footprint charts is like, they're not perfect. It's not like just because there's a bunch of net selling doesn't always correlate to a reversal. I can see the net selling on the DOM. That's all I need. I don't need a footprint chart as well. It was just adding another layer of confusion for myself. It doesn't have to be like that for everyone. I'm just saying for me. That's why I removed it. Has it increased? No. It just, I mean, not necessarily. It's just taking less trades. So to some degree, yes, but it just less frequency of trade, which is even better. It's less trades in general. But I like to measure it based on how many trades I take. Because the more you trade, the expectancy over more trades should technically be positive, but there's certain things that make it worse. And you have to kind of dissect your trading to know what those are. And so the print chart for me was one of those. And then incorporating, again, I keep going back to the same thing, but incorporating those reports, the ones that you see next to me, decreased my rate of trade even further. Then now I take 1 to maybe 2 trades a day. Some instances 3, it depends, but really low frequency. But the stops are wider because I'm using a larger scale structure to trade as opposed to the smaller term structures. Right at Euro close here, volume increase a tad. See if this results in anything. Euro close, volume kind of ticked up, volume pace ticked up a little bit, expected. There. Dow's breaking down. I just got an alert that it broke a new low. I was texting. I just got a notification that it broke the current low out of nowhere. I'm not sure what's puking, but something within the Dow is causing this little weakness. All right. Anyway, out the low, NQ is holding pretty well, man. It looks like it wants to go higher, but we'll see. What's the Dow? Yeah. Very inverted price action between the Dow and the Nasdaq today. What I don't understand is there's 7 long. This is so fucking so messy, dude. It's disgusting. The price action. We're just probing between yesterday's lows, which is bullish. Like we're not taking out a prior day low. The Dow is, but the S&P is not. So it's like neutral to bullish. We're not breaking any structure to the downside yet. Probably gonna size this trade down here because we're heading into New York lunch here. Don't expect there to be a large rotation midday. Well, I gotta go. I'll be back tomorrow. Stream here. I'll see you guys. Take care.